Hey,
One day I'm gonna finish that song, and we'll have more than 17 seconds. But I do like that 17 seconds.
you don't you have the full song of that?
I mean, what's really a full song? I always feel like I haven't finished writing a song, and so I just never let anybody hear it.
Hmm,
That's my own thing. I'm working on it.
it's all good. You'll figure it out one day.
I will figure it out one day because I will develop an awareness about it.
Speaking of,
Oh, yeah.
no. So I came up with this the other day. Just I don't even know. Probably in the
Yeah.
shower. I do a lot of thinking in the shower. It like grounds me or something. I don't know.
What is it
Um,
about that?
I don't know. You do the same thing?
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Nah, not everybody does.
I'm pretty sure everybody thinks while they're in the shower.
Well, I guess so because you're by yourself, and it's like But I think some people are focusing on just like hurrying up and getting through the shower. But I take long ass showers
Huh.
because I'm in there just like thinking about life and different situations and whatnot.
Yeah. It is cold there too, so it's probably nice to warm up in the shower, right?
Yes, but
Yeah,
then
I
I do
remember
the
that.
30 seconds of the cold at the end to wake my ass up.
Yeah, there you go. That's really freaking cold too.
Yeah, in the wintertime, it's great.
You're like,
You're like,
I'm awake.
no, I literally when I'm counting the 30 seconds, I don't have like a watch or anything in there. But I have to do it with my fingers because I lose track of counting after 10 because I'm like 1, 2, 3. So I start using my fingers, and then every time I do both fingers, then I start over again. And if I do it 3 times, that's 30 seconds.
Do you breathe through it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have to start focusing on your breathing, and I can't
Yeah.
focus on the breathing and the counting at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot because you're kind of in that shocked state, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. I tried to do that here in Florida and Louisiana, but the
Yeah.
water never gets hot enough.
I
Or
was doing
sorry,
that when
never
we
gets
lived in
cold enough.
Miami, and it was like a waste of time. It was just like refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah, like the cold water here is like lukewarm still. It's
Yeah, yeah.
not like shock you out of your life cold.
Right. Okay, so getting back to the self-awareness, right? So I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about this. I don't know why, don't ask me. But I came up with this: deeper levels of self-awareness. Um, so I wrote, people do all kinds of things to quote unquote look deeper into things, video games, sports, etc. Meaning, like when they when people dive into anything that you're super interested in, right? You're really like there's some people that know all the players to all the teams and like how much they make and who they're married to, all the
Yeah.
details, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. And whatever it is that you dive into, video games, sports, or work, or whatever it is, it's all the same. Everybody does it. Um, so, but I was thinking if we all took that energy that is focused on other things external outside of us and focused it in on having a deeper self-awareness with yourself, then you reap humongous benefits, right? And that's kind of what the Healy is all about. It's about self-awareness, running these programs, getting to know your body physically, mentally, because sometimes when you run this thing at first, if you're not very self-aware, you're not connected, you might not feel anything or see any benefits right off the rip, right? Because maybe it's because you're so scattered externally.
Unaware. Unaware. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm so self-aware. Like I've been telling you for years, I've been doing like experiments, like health stuff for my intestines and my stomach and stuff, because I've always had like this sensitive stomach, and it's always like you got to do this for like 2 weeks, and then that didn't work, it made it worse or whatever, and then you're gonna eat this food, and then try something else or whatever, vitamins, all kinds of shit. But because I'm so self-aware of that, i can I can see the subtle differences, right?
Totally.
And that's just one aspect. Like,
Right.
never mind everything else that's going on with you on a regular basis, which I believe a lot of people are unaware, you know? People have like migraines or, you know, all kinds of, I don't know, other issues or depression and stuff like that. That's what therapy is about, right? Depression. Like, so you have depression, you are clear, you're unaware, you're not self-aware enough to pick through it all and figure out where this depression or whatever comes from. So you need the help of a specialist, like a therapist, to walk you through the process. Go back to when you were a child, really dive in. Where do these feelings come from? Right. And, you know, obviously there's huge benefits to therapy, right? So it's basically all it really is self awareness,
Yeah.
right? Once you understand where these feelings come from, then you can start changing or shifting and doing something different.
Yeah. I think everything always, any breakthrough with yourself has to start with self awareness. And I'm speaking from just myself as you know, like you said, you run experiments on yourself. I remember getting my first self help book
Hmm.
when I was like in my 20s. And it's not like I had tons of issues or problems that I need to work out. I was just really, I really gravitated towards this book, and just the idea of bettering yourself just because, you know.
What do you remember what book it was?
Oh, off the top of my head, no, I don't
Dude,
know exactly what it looks like, but I don't remember the author or the book. I just remember it was the first time that I started being interested in asking myself questions of why I do what I do.
hmm.
You know, like it just asks basic questions like what are your strengths? What do you think your strengths are? What do you think your weaknesses are?
Hmm.
What what do you think has affected you from doing what you want to do? You know, like you start asking yourself those questions earnestly and give yourself the time to answer them, and you come up with words that then help you identify with where you want to go, right? Like that's,
Yeah.
we're all trying to figure out, well, maybe not all, but I'd like to think that we all want to know who we are and where we're from and why we're here and what we're doing, because to me, working a 9 to 5 job, going to an office and then coming home and then going to sleep and waking up and repeating that until you're at retirement age doesn't seem like a life to me. There
Hmm.
has to be more. I'm always searching for more. I'm always figuring out what drives me, what excites me, what I get passionate about, and that is everything to do with self-awareness. Like,
Dude, I love self-help books. I mean, I've kind of it was more in mid 20s to like mid 30s. I was like every single book was a self-help book. But my first self-help book was from you. Don't sweat the small stuff.
oh shit, yeah.
So you had that probably in your early 20s, if
Yeah.
any,
Yeah.
right? That is a great book to start being self-aware. And then
And the funny thing about that is when we were roommates, it was in the fucking shitter. It was in the bathroom.
it was always in there,
So we'd like go to the bathroom, like while we're taking a shit, just read read a little something, something, come
yeah.
out
I think
feeling
you would
so
like
much
put it.
better.
Yeah, you like put it in there one day, and I was just like, "Oh, what's this?" You know, and then just went from there. But getting back to the, you know, like you were like, not everybody is self aware or looking for self awareness, right? And I think that's true, right? But imagine if everybody dove super deep on themselves. Like, I think about this all the time, and I feel as though it's weird. I think of like humans, like, it's so strange that I'm going to say this, but that we're supposed to be like an ant colony. And that may sound very like freaking 9 to 5 ish, but there's different, not even an ant colony. I mean, an ant colony kind of describes it very generally, but like there's different types of ants that do different things, right? In the whole process, right? And they don't question why they're the ant that's doing this job and this ant is the one that's doing that job, because they were born and meant to do what they're doing and they love it, right? And it's like you can even look at like chimpanzees. They're in like groups and stuff like that, and every chimpanzee has their role, whether it's like to guard the community or to gather food or whatever. They all just do what they do and they fall in line, and they're all happy to fall in line, right? Wherever they're supposed to be at. Um, and I think there's through media and movies and TV, and everybody's been pushed to want to be like the leader, the number one, the king, and that's a great thing to strive for, but not everybody's meant for that, right? so so in turn, what you should do, instead of like trying to be the boss or the one or the guy that creates everything or whatever, just find what you love doing, and you will be the boss and the creator of that thing. And then other people who enjoy the same thing will follow along, right? um, and then you create your own little community, and then who cares who the most famous movie star is at the time, or whatever it is, like you kind of like did in your free time, or your favorite quarterback or something. Like it doesn't matter, it's so irrelevant to your life, you know um so what I'm saying is if everybody just focused on what they enjoy doing and what they want in life, anything, whatever it is, right, then you'd probably be more in line with where you want to be in life.
So how do you get to that point, though? I think that's the.
The Healy.
I think. I think for me, speaking just for myself, there's always an awareness of what I want to do, where I want to be, but it's not always easy to find the way there, right? Like, how do you, if you're in a cycle of beliefs that are no longer serving you. So if you're in a cycle of believing I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, there's too many other people out there doing what I want to do. If you have those limiting beliefs about yourself, then how do you expect yourself to get to that actionable stage of where you want to be, right? How do
Right.
you how do you how do you stop a cycle that has been stopping you in the past? And I think, again, back to what you were saying, awareness, right? Like having awareness of um, what it is that drives you, having an awareness of maybe limiting beliefs, having an awareness of, um, I don't know, your energy.
Yeah, your weaknesses and your like your powers, right? Just knowing your boundaries in life of,
Yeah, like I'm not coming here thinking I know the answers. I'm coming here like actually like working through this right now. I'm literally working through this right now. Like,
as we speak. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
again, because you know, just like you have different chapters in life, right? And I feel like I'm in this chapter of recreating myself again. Like
Mm,
we post pandemic, like obviously everybody went through the pandemic, but everybody had a different version of the pandemic. For Melissa and I, we had been traveling the world and singing and loving life, going to all these tropical islands for 8 years straight. And then that literally just came to a halt and a stop. And
mm,
then having to recreate who it is that we are again. Like,
Yeah.
what is it that drives me today? What is it that I'm passionate about today? What is it that I want to do in the future
Right.
with what I have now? And I think all of that is back to awareness, being honest with myself, you know, being honest with who I am, being honest with all of those things that make me who I am, and then get me to where I want to be in this next chapter.
Yeah. Like the everybody has different phases in life, right? So that's even here's even more part of like self-awareness, right? Of like understanding through numerology, you can actually understand the different phases in life and when it's going to like transition from one to the other. Um, even from month to month, you can figure that out, right?
Yeah. Dude, numerology has given me some crazy insight that astrology couldn't give. It's
Yeah.
just
Have you
a
been looking
whole.
into it?
I mean, yeah, I have that app, you know,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
to
I haven't joined it.
numerology, and like I've read all of it. It's so relevant and definitely speaks to, you know, the three phases in my life. I'm literally leaving one and going into another in numerology, and I'm actually feeling the weight of that and feeling the transformations all the time.
Yeah.
Like
And you
I
can
know
see it
my.
happening in your life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can feel it. Like I feel different. I
Mm.
feel like something's coming. I feel like something is happening, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to be aware of all of those things, like all of the great dreams and aspirations that I have, and then but also being honest with all of the things that are bringing me down, like
Mm.
the negative beliefs that I have about myself, the self-limiting beliefs that I have. They all, it's this cycle, and I'm in this process of trying to shatter that again, break through it into this next whatever.
This is the power and control that all humans are like seeking in their own little life, right? Like like you've seen people like I don't know, some security guard at like Walmart or something like that. No offense if that's what you are, but you know that's somebody that's like really being strict on their authority at that place. They're digging for something deeper within themselves, but they're unaware of it. So they're utilizing this external power to control others, which maybe facilitates that same feeling within for a moment. It's temporary, you
Have you
know.
had a moment with a security guard at Walmart?
No,
Is this personal?
I haven't. I'm just like thinking of like, you know, just people in it's most maybe like some government position where they're like holding your documents and they're like, oh, we'll have it when we're ready or whatever, you know, like there's people out there that utilize these external positions of authority a little bit and they push it a little bit further, and I believe it's to feel that control, but really what they're searching for is the control over their own lives and their own self-awareness of like what's going on in their lives. And I feel like those types of people are feel out of control mentally. So whenever they have an opportunity to be in control, they overly extend it. I mean, it's just a theory, but like I can guarantee if those people focused in on themselves and understood their faults and their powers and whatever and empowered themselves through this process, then they would probably not want to have some sort of power over others. It's a
There's a
deep theory.
lot. There's
Deep
a lot
theory.
all packed in there. But what I would say, I would turn that around and say that we all have the ability
Mm.
to use our personal and very specific circumstances that are individualized to us in powerful ways.
Yes.
Like yogic teaching is all about like everyone and everything in every scenario is your guru. It's your teacher, it's your lesson to learn, it's your uh professor, whatever. um and so the negative aspect of that security guard at Walmart could be using his power, overexerting his power for negative reasons because he feels lack in his life or whatever. Or he could be using those circumstances in his life to further himself to the next level in
Right.
those. Because I really do believe that, like, we're all so different, right? Like, everybody is so different. We,
Yeah.
there are things that we can all try and agree on and come together. But when you get down to the micro level of every human being, and you break down who they are and what they are and where they're from, even down to their biological DNA, we are all very different.
Mm.
And the philosophical question is, are we here for a reason? Or is the reason just to be here experiencing life? And is it because all of our differences, are we meant to learn something from that? Are we supposed to want more than what we already have?
But even if we're
Uh,
just here to experience life, it's like that experience can be so much better or larger or more encompassing or detailed with deep self-awareness.
Look at how you brought that back.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. With awareness. Yeah. So life is different with awareness, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, so I feel as though I'm a pretty self-aware person. I've been to therapy, all kinds of therapies, numerology, the Healy, meditation, yoga, just like constant, like shrooms, LSD, all this stuff, right? And I'm still becoming more and more self-aware every day. It's like a never-ending thing.
So what does it mean to you to be self-aware?
Um I am always trying to put myself in other people's shoes. So, like when I say things, such as what I just said a little while ago, right? I'm very self aware of this, but I said it anyways about the security guard at Walmart, right? That could be very offensive to some people, right? And that's why I apologize. I said that no, I'm just trying to create examples, and in my brain, anyways, I'm going a little deep on that one, but what I try and do is I put myself in other people's shoes while I'm talking or after or before even, and think about it from a completely different perspective. Like, take myself out of my brain and think about it the way maybe you would think about it or somebody else would. And that's a difficult thing to do. Like, unless you really know the person you're talking to.
So
Um,
you're saying that being self-aware is almost like the observer effect.
yeah, I guess so. Right.
When, like, the moment that you take yourself out of yourself, and then you are aware of the, almost like you looking down at you, right?
Mm,
And that's why, like, we talked about this in our mystical experience episode, where if we're out of our body and we're able to observe ourself, then which one are we? Which
mm.
one are which one is the self?
I still can't answer that question, but
But what you're saying is, for your definition at this moment in time, self-awareness is about being able to see yourself outside of yourself. That's what it seems like.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best way. I mean, there's definitely different levels and layers to this of like self-aware that I could just be like, yeah, self-awareness is me understanding that, I react in a certain way to certain triggers that people would something that people would say to me or whatever. Okay, that's one level of like self-awareness, yes, like understanding how you're going to react in different situations. But then there's the deeper levels of self-awareness, which is probably like what I'm talking about, taking yourself out, watching or listening. Like even some of these like podcasts, I'll go back and listen to them just so I could be more self-aware of like how I said things, or how do I actually want to come off and how I am coming off,
Yeah.
because those
Yeah.
are two different things too. Sometimes
Yeah.
people think they're coming off in a certain way, but then they're not. But in their mind,
Yep.
they are. They're not trying to like hurt people's feelings or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah,
But
my wife says that to me all the time. She
yeah,
always says, "Read the room,"
yeah.
because when I have a thought, sometimes it just comes out, and I
Hmm.
haven't really processed or thought like how it's gonna sound to the person that I've said it or the room that I'm in. I just say it, and I don't
Right.
ever mean to be hurtful, um, or offensive, but I do think that I have a tendency to come across that way. Like a lot of people have told me that I come across as like a know-it-all, or
Mm.
that I'm aggressive, even, or too forward. And I
Well,
think I take that on. Like I really do take that on board, especially if there's more than one person that has told me that.
Well, there's also like boundaries to this as well. It's like you don't want to go so far into other people's shoes that you care so much about what they're thinking of what you're saying. I do it for reference, and then I take some of it, or I'll talk to somebody and see what they think, and then if they're thinking the opposite, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to like take it on as this is something that I'm going to do forever. But
Hmm.
what is that?
I just got the heart meridian.
Ah,
Hmm.
well, speaking of, I am running the throat
Throat.
chakra, which is
Oh,
great for
speaking.
podcasting.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So now, yes, we're back to this. We'll get back to what we're talking about in a second, but we do have this function available now again. So whenever we want to do any kind of program, we can do it right off the fly, on the cuff, whatever
That's
you want to call
cool. We can see what your phone looks like. That's great.
it. You could see yeah, we can see what my phone looks like. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Anyways, yeah, we just got off a little bit on that.
No, I just going back to that. Melissa also says, I really do think my wife is way wiser than me.
But definitely.
She says, so she says like read the room to me all the time, but then she also says, because you were like saying you don't want to be in someone else's shoes so much that you lose yourself in the process,
Yeah, like you
right?
care so much about what they're gonna say or think that you change yourself.
Right, and this is what she is so good at doing. Um, she always talks about being able to speak to the person that you're speaking to so that they can hear you.
Hmm.
So, there's people will say things like, don't um, wait to speak next. Listen to what the person is saying and then speak.
Hmm.
And that to me was a huge thing for me, because I tend to get really excited and like talk over people, and then pretty soon nobody's talking and I'm just like talking very loudly over everyone. That can happen sometimes to me. No, it's happening a lot less, because
Yeah,
I think my wife has made me a lot more aware of those instances.
I used to
Um,
be like that too until until we started doing podcasts, and it's like it's detrimental to a podcast to be able to like allow other people to talk. You know,
right. Yeah, yeah, and then also like the technology lag, sometimes.
right?
Actually, this doesn't really have any lag, but sometimes, you got to wait, really wait for them to finish their thought before you come through, and yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
But I think that she's always telling me like calm down, and then really think about what you're going to say, and what is it that you're trying to get across? Like, what is your point? What's your
Mm.
point? And taking that other person or other people into consideration, how are they going to best hear what you want to say? And
Right.
then after having that thought, continue with the thought and say it, or just don't say anything at all.
Yeah. So
You
if
know?
that so I get what she's saying, right? So it's like, what is your actual goal? Is your goal to convince this person of this idea or something like that? Okay, then if that's the goal, fine. Then you have to understand who you're talking to, and understand how they receive this type of information,
Right.
right?
Given
And then
their,
give it to them the way that they receive it so that it'll get embedded in their brain, and then whatever, right? But that's easier said than done.
yeah, it's a practice.
Yeah.
It's something you work on. And that goes back to awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were you were supposed to say it, but no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people, like famous people, they're public speakers or whatever, right? They are doing this, but they're focusing their, and this is off the top of the head right now. It seems as though they are focusing their their content on particular groups of people that they know think a particular way about a particular topic, right? So they can hone in on something that they know a large group of people are aware of. They're self-aware of what they feel about this thing, and then they can freely talk about that thing. But you know you're you're also ousting a bunch of other people that think the complete opposite of that, right? You're never going to be able to cater to every single person on earth ever, with the way that you communicate. There's no perfection in that, I don't think. I
Really?
don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. You're
I
going to
think,
offend
yeah, yeah.
somebody at some point, at some level, or whatever, right? This is also getting deeper into the deeper self-awareness, right? If
Well,
if everybody was deeply self-aware, they probably wouldn't get as offended about certain things, because they're very confident in who they are, what they believe in, what they think, as opposed to people that aren't sure, which usually are people that are not self-aware because they haven't done the research within themselves or on the topic or whatever. And they go into like the zone of whatever culture's doing. That's what they're doing. Like, they're feeling offended because culture requires them to feel offended about a certain topic. Ugh, man, this throat chakra is working.
yeah, you're really speaking some stuff, man, cuz I mean that's huge. Like so many of us, I'm going to include myself because, it's nearly impossible to deprogram your mind from what is being fed to us on, every level.
Yeah.
Like social media, you look at your phone, like there is an ad now, like when you're on hold, for telephones, like you're like on hold, and then like the hold music comes on, then someone will be like, hey, make sure you purchase this or add this onto your AT&T bill, like blah blah blah, get
Hmm.
this. Hey, if you're I was at the gas station the other day, and I'm
Yeah,
like
as you're
plugging,
pumping.
yeah, as you're pumping, and it's like screaming in your face, like it's like, the commercial was like, it's royalty back in the day to have ice. And now when you come in, you can have a super freezing cold icy from blah, 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 and a Slurpee and a slushy. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so thirsty right now. I'm like, God damn it. Get out of my head. It's just like, that's an example of like knowing when it's happening. But a lot of the time, like you can't think that you're not affected, right?
Yeah.
Even me, I'm like trying to sit out here in nature and like as much as I can, and not be influenced, or at least try and have control over what is influencing me. as best as I can, I'm still being influenced. I know that I am, because there's thoughts that I hold about, you know, people, about things, about that aren't even my thoughts. You
Yeah,
know, it's like, how did that get in there? Like,
right. But
where did that come
that's
from?
self-awareness though. You're aware that these are things that you don't, because you know yourself so well, you know when things are being injected into you and you're like, hold on, I don't actually even have a thought on that yet. I haven't done any
Yeah.
research on this. Where does that thought come from?
Do you know what this feels like? Like the the battle that I have with trying to get the thoughts that are not mine out is like me trying to keep up with my fucking inbox
Yeah.
of emails. It's like emails are coming at me from every angle and all these different ads, because I have like 6 emails now, and all of them I use. And like in a day, if I am away for 3 days, I have over 200 emails, and half of them I have to read. I
Yeah.
have to go through them. Some of them are work, some of them are, bank statements, some of them are important, some of them, it's like,
Well,
how do you?
that's a great point of like how like self-awareness is like, if you're not self-aware, you're constantly basically being manipulated by the media all day long, by spam and your email. There's so many little things, and if you're unaware of it, you then slowly become unaware of your own feelings about anything. It's crazy.
Jeez, man, I am done. I'm done. It's done. We're done. Podcast over. I
Put in
got
your
no more. No.
mouth. Well, that sums it all up, really. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Like we do, we're the key is self-awareness. If you want to better your life, if you want to not feel out of control within your life, if you want to, you know, try, I don't know, if you feel stuck, it's all about self-awareness. Once you become aware of the details, the deep details, not just top layer stuff, then you can make decisions that can bring you to where you want to be.
Right.
Hmm.
There's a whole actually, just today, I'm actually going through this right now. Hold on, let me grab.
Ooh, it's a surprise. What is it? A puppy? Oh, lost you. No, you're back.
Hold on.
But you're on your shitty mic now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
I hear myself as well.
Yeah, I went to get up and then I unplugged myself on accident. Hold on.
Yard looks great.
Oh yeah, I can't take full credit for that, but I do help. All right, so this is literally what I'm working on right now.
Oh my god, it looks like freaking like some equation that Einstein wrote.
Well, it's like hacking your beliefs. So I'm taking this online course, like I told you about, right? And
Hold on,
they have,
before you continue,
yeah,
your microphone, it went back to like the computer microphone, I think.
did it?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Let me check. So lame. I love you, technology, but sometimes. Can you hear me okay now?
It's the same.
Really? I haven't done anything else.
Tap the mic. Tap it. No.
Nothing?
I'm hearing you through the computer
No.
because I hear like all the background noise, all this other shit. Something changed. As soon as you unplugged it, it dropped out.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, I think you're back now.
So lame. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, it's good now. Yes. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Does that work?
Yes. Yes, but now you cannot hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. I
My
hear you.
something happened. My phone just said audio is going through the phone. So it just used my phone without even asking. Anyway, okay, back to this. It's
Okay.
called so I'm taking this online course and it's called the Conscious Business Development Program, and it's with Aaron Doughty, who has like a massive channel. And this thing is called BETDAR, BETDAR. And it says when you feel triggered, you have a belief. Like obviously, if you feel triggered about something, it's because you have a very strong belief that has been like triggered. Then you have an emotion about it. Then you have thoughts about it, which leads you to make decisions based off of those thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. And then you take action in your life, and then you have a result. Bet dar. So apparently, this is from like a self help book about recognizing the patterns that we have in our life
Mm.
and realizing if we're stuck in a cycle that we don't like, a result, if we're stuck in a result that we don't like, then we can move backwards. Like, what action did I take to get that result in my life? What decisions am I making? You know, what thoughts do I have, emotions? And then you get to that core belief of what is this belief that's causing me to feel triggered and continue this cycle. And yeah, it's a lot.
Well, you have to be self-aware to even attempt to do that, right?
Right. But this is like so many people nowadays, because you were saying that people can get offended very easily. And I think, there's so many things going on social media that give people ammo to think that they have certain thoughts that are themselves without actually going deep and truly figuring out how it is they feel about that topic.
Mm.
So without actually doing that, without going through, why am I being triggered right now? What is the belief that I have that's making me feel this way? And then go through that cycle. What are the emotions I'm feeling right now? What are the thoughts I'm having? What actions or decisions have I made to create a result based off of this trigger or based off of this belief? And is this whole cycle of thing that I hold dear to me, this belief, is it something that I still need?
Mm.
Can I just let it go? Can I let this
Yeah.
belief go so that it will allow me to move forward? Or can I create a new belief to cover that one up? You know?
To cover it up, to
Well, not
replace
cover
it.
it up, but replace it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would also say that sometimes you have to, almost tell yourself over and over again before you believe it, especially if it's a pattern that you've created in your life for
Yeah, and
many years.
it's also like execution and like practice, right? So it's like if you decide to change one of these things, then those triggers are going to keep happening because they've been happening for the past 20 years or whatever. But you have to catch yourself in the moment, which is more self awareness, right? And the first few times, the first 20 times, you might not fully catch yourself. This is why it takes something like 90 days to fully implement like new routines and thoughts or whatever into your life, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that's a
this
lot.
happens all the time in with me and my wife. Like we'll have conversations. She'll be like, "Hey, I really wish you wouldn't like say things like whatever, like in a certain way or tone or whatever." So, okay, I say, "All right," and that means I have to like embed it in my brain and be like, "Okay, Joe, so when this thing happens, you're gonna want to do this, but don't do that. Do this." And it's usually like the first like 5 times I still do that, but at least like maybe 5 minutes later I'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I really meant to say it like this," and then I'll reiterate or whatever.
And
It's
those
just
are
a
the
lot of
kinds of
work.
things that, I mean, those are the kinds of things that you do when you're in a relationship, though. Any relationship, right?
Well,
You,
yeah, I
they're not,
guess technically you should, but I mean, I
right.
think there's probably a lot of people out there that don't, you know, and they're just like, "This is just how I am."
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, the, the best parts about a relationship are those moments that not make you or force you to change, but give you insight into yourself to allow you to grow and learn. I think
Mm,
that's what relationships are about. When you have relationships with anybody, like a relationship with you, relationship with my wife, with my brother, with my mom, all the relationships that we have in our life are opportunities and chances for us to learn and to grow.
mm,
Having a relationship with somebody is a gift, you know?
right.
And when
Even
it's
the bad,
hard,
even the quote unquote bad relationships, you're learning.
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, or even the hard parts in the relationship.
Mm,
Sometimes those are the best parts. Like when you butt heads with somebody, and then you may be able to make a breakthrough because of it. You
yeah.
know, this whole process of analyzing triggers is to me very interesting, because I'm a person that, I wouldn't say that I never get triggered. I say that I just pretend like it doesn't happen, and I just kind of like shove it down. And that didn't happen because I'm a positive person. Like I'm a positive person. I choose to be positive. It's a choice. It's a choice to be a happy person. It's a choice to be a positive person. I don't get offended. I don't get offended. But really, there are some times where I do. Where somebody will say
Mhm.
something, and I just let it go. But this, to me, I think will be a key for me to discover patterns that are holding me back by analyzing my
This. Oh,
triggers.
like what the
Yeah,
the
that Bednar situation,
okay, okay.
analyzing your belief, finding the emotion behind
Mm.
it, the thoughts that you have, the decisions that you make, the actions, and then the result that comes from it. And
Yeah,
by
that's like a
analyzing them,
list to get to that's like a literally a list to get to a step-by-step list to get to self-awareness of a particular topic.
totally. And
Yeah.
you can go by real life examples that happen to you in your daily life, right? Because I mean, there's so many times where I'll see a post and people are like, "I was triggered today. Today, this triggered me. This, I was triggered by this, and triggered, 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 triggered." Okay, okay, I see
What are you
your
gonna do
trigger.
about it?
What?
Yeah.
How do we figure that out? How do we? Why are we triggered? What's that belief? Then go through the cycle, right? It takes some
Mm.
self awareness and takes some time and some effort. But I think the award will be, you may break a belief or get rid of something that no longer serves you to be able to move to that next level. And today I felt like, so I joined this thing, and I've joined a lot of online things to try and like better myself. And um, I kind of had like this attitude of like, well, I'm just going to join it and I'll see what I get out of it, see what happens. I've been to these before, and I feel like people have disappointed me, or I didn't like the direction it was going. And so you just kind of take away from it what you can. But this time, I really checked in with myself and I said, you're only going to get out of this experience what you put in. So if I come in with this like low vibe attitude that I may get something out of this, I don't know if
Mm.
I'm going to get something out of this, then that's what I'm going to get out of it. Right?
Yeah.
So like I had to really like look at myself and say, you know what? Just apply yourself, read the things, do the acronyms, and like they've been great. Like, but it's the work that I put in. I sat down on the couch, feeling like a 14-year-old girl with her diary, and journaling and writing it down and reflecting in silence and peace and trying to really get to some of the root of the things that are maybe weighing me down, because it's only me. Like if I want to
Hmm.
get to a certain place, it's only me that's holding me back.
I mean, yeah, that's most cases, right? It's like
Yep.
the only person stopping you from doing what you want to do is most of the time it's just you. It's your belief system in like how to accomplish that goal, right? You set limits. You're like, oh, I can't be, I don't know, the CEO of Twitter because of X, Y, and Z. I don't even know Elon. You just like lay out all this whole list of reasons why, and well, that's why, and then you're never gonna do it. Or you just say, fuck that thing, fuck that thing, fuck that thing. How do I become a CEO? Okay, there's your first step. When you become a CEO of some company, then you know how to be a CEO. So how do I become the CEO of Twitter? This is all like long-term shit of like, and then it's like leading you down the path. And not everybody wants to do that. But if that is your goal, then that's how you achieve it. And maybe like we can think of like some other one, or I don't know, president of the company you work for, and you just started working there, right? But you want to be president one day. Okay, well that also takes time. I guess it seems a little bit more achievable in some people's eyes, right? They already work for the company, you know, and you just take it day by day, and what are the steps, and that's what you're doing with your steps. It's like it's all the same stuff. You just like flush out the false beliefs that you have about anything, and then you just do it.
Well, my thing is too. You this quote always comes to my mind is, you don't know what you don't know.
Right,
So
yes,
sometimes,
I always say that too.
sometimes, yeah, you can break all the things, you can do the worksheets, you can, whatever. But if if you're trying to get to a place that you've never been, you don't know what you don't know. So you have to be open to learning as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm 42 now, and sometimes I tend to get like stuck in ways about certain things, and I have to like let that go and allow myself to say, if I want to get to a place that I've never been, then I need to allow myself to go places I've never gone. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Do things you've never done.
Yeah.
um hey, on that note, I gotta get going here. But I just wanted to mention the background. We changed that a little bit. Let us know if you think that that's cool. We got a few other things that we're tweaking as we go along, but I think um, things are going very well for this podcast.
Yeah. Follow
Yep,
us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're putting stuff
Twitter.
out there, and we want to hear what you think.
Yes,
Truly.
sir. All right. Sorry if I like abruptly stopped that, but I got to go pick up my daughter.
Yeah, no. It's real life, man. I should probably jump into that pool back there before it rains.
Yeah, rough day.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
All right. Peace.